Today we're going to make a tiki classic, the Mai Tai. For this drink, you're going to need a double old-fashioned glass, a graduated double jigger, a measuring cup, a cocktail shaker, a citrus juicer, a fine mesh strainer, a cutting board and a small knife, and optionally, a Lewis bag and an ice mallet. This drink uses a medium-bodied rum, Curaçao, Orgeat, rich simple syrup, freshly squeezed lime juice, and mint for garnish. The Mai Tai has to be the most famous tiki drink in the world. Even if you've never heard of the term exotic drink, or couldn't name another tiki drink, you'd know this one. But to tell its story, we need to go back to the beginning of tiki drinks. In the tiki world, there are two godfathers of the Polynesian bar, Donn the Beachcomber and Trader Vic Bergeron. Both founded tiki bars in California in the 1930s. They were the Edison and Tesla of the tiki world. There were other players, but they were the ones leading the industry and fanning the flames of post-war American interest in Polynesian culture. They were professional rivals, competing with one another, keeping cocktail recipes a close secret. This is part of the reason why you never get the same drink in different bars and restaurants when you order a Mai Tai. For decades, no one really knew what the recipe actually was. And after it became a household name, both men claimed to have invented the Mai Tai, which, strange as it sounds, could be true. Today, what we think of as a Mai Tai is the Trader Vic's Mai Tai from 1944, made up of medium-bodied rum, Curaçao, Orgeat, lime juice, and rock candy syrup, or rich simple syrup. As Vic tells it, he made up this concoction, handed it to a Tahitian friend, who then declared, "Mai Tai roa ai," which he translated to, "out of this world, the best." In Tahitian, Mai Tai means good. But this oft-repeated story was printed in Vic's autobiography from the 70s, which was right around the time he was tangled up in a lawsuit over who created the Mai Tai. As to who created this version of the drink, that was undoubtedly Vic. But perhaps the name of the drink and its flavor profile have other origins. According to Beachbum Berry, a modern-day tiki historian and founder of Latitude 29 in New Orleans, the less often cited story of the Mai Tai is as follows. Former Prohibition-era bootlegger and Polynesian island traveler Ernest Raymond Beaumont Gant, aka Donn the Beachcomber, opened the first tiki bar in 1933 in Hollywood. At that time, he invented an obscure, rarely served drink which he confessed was not one of his favorites, called the Mai Tai Swizzle. In 1934, Vic Bergeron opened a bar in Oakland called Hinky Dinks. Then in 1937, Vic paid a visit to Donn's bar and got inspired by the Polynesian themes. Shortly after, Vic rebranded his bar to Trader Vic's. And in 1937, when Vic visited, there was a drink on Donn's menu called the QB Cooler. The recipe for that drink, as with most of Donn's drinks, was a guarded secret. Then in 1944, Vic invented his Mai Tai. After the drink became popular in the 1950s, Donn insisted that he invented the Mai Tai and put the Mai Tai Swizzle back on his menu. The Swizzle didn't taste much like a Trader Vic's Mai Tai. It's very grapefruit forward and doesn't highlight the rum the way that Vic's does. But according to Mick Brownlee, a longtime Beachcomber bartender, Donn never claimed that Vic stole the Mai Tai Swizzle from him, but rather he stole the QB Cooler and rebranded it as the Mai Tai. And it's true, the QB Cooler does taste amazingly like the Trader Vic's Mai Tai. But as Beachbum Berry points out, it would have been a hell of a reverse engineering feat, not only for Vic to figure out how to recreate the flavors of Donn's drink, but to do it with half the ingredients, and improve on it slightly. Maybe it was corporate espionage. Maybe it was just a coincidence. That happened to me with the Southland and the El Camino. But if this is what happened, it would mean that Donn came up with the name and the flavor, but Vic invented the drink and made it a phenomenon. The only one who'd know for sure would be Vic. The 1944 Mai Tai was designed to showcase an aged Jamaican rum. It was originally made with 17-year-old Ray and Nephew Jamaican rum. Sadly, this rum is no longer made, and hasn't been for several decades. Even in Vic's time, the dwindling supply of this rum, combined with the ravenous appetites of his customers for this drink, led to Vic having to change gears. He switched to the 15-year Ray and Nephew, and when that ran low, he started blending it with other rums. Eventually, he settled on a combination of a full-bodied Jamaican and a Martinique rum. This is the formula that most bars that care about what the Mai Tai tastes like will follow: a pot-still Jamaican rum and a rum agricole. However, according to Trader Vic's Bartender's Guide from 1947, Vic would often equate Jamaican and Martinique rums, calling for either one on a given drink. And when he would call for rum agricole, he'd refer to it as St. James rum. This led Martin Cate, the founder of Smuggler's Cove in San Francisco, to really dig into this detail. He believes that when Vic said Martinique rum, he meant the molasses-based rum traditional, not the fresh cane juice-based rum agricole. For that reason, in his Mai Tais, Cate uses Denizen Merchant's Reserve, which is a blend of Jamaican pot still rums and the molasses-based Martinique rum. If you want to blend a good Jamaican and Martinique yourself, you can't go wrong with Hamilton Jamaica Black and Duquesne Élevé Sous Bois. That's a combination they were using at the Tiki Bar 3 Dots and a Dash in Chicago when I visited a couple years ago. The Hamilton Black is powerful and full-flavored, and the Duquesne is a lot more mellow and balanced than other rum agricoles, which may come from being aged in giant toasted oak vats for 18 months. It's certainly not a rum traditional, but it doesn't have the extremely vibrant, grassy bite that some other rum agricoles have. However, the rum I like the best for a Mai Tai is the Aged Wray and Nephew, diluted down to about 94 proof. Keep in mind that you don't need to dig this deep to come up with a great Mai Tai. Use your favorite flavorful rum. These methods are really only if you want to push the drink a little further and try to achieve the flavor profile that Vic was trying to highlight when he described the base spirit of the Mai Tai as medium-bodied, but with a rich, pungent flavor that was nutty and snappy. Out of these 3 Mai Tais, I got a pretty split reaction among my friends who tasted them. One chose the Denizen, one chose the Hamilton and Duquesne, and another chose the Aged Wray and Nephew. Since I chose the Wray and Nephew too, I made it the centerpiece. Before I get started, I like to cut, squeeze, strain, and bottle my lime juice. That way it's easier to pour when it comes time to measure. Only in this case, you'll want to hang onto the spent lime shell. You'll need it for garnish. Next, beat up some ice. Add ice cubes to the Lewis bag and roll it up. If you don't have a Lewis bag, you can just use a bar towel. Just fold it up so the ice can't escape. With the Lewis bag rolled, swing that hammer like John Henry on the final stretch. Then we'll chill the glass. Measure out 12 ounces of crushed ice. Then dump that in your glass and set it aside. If you're using Denizen or another single rum, measure out 2 ounces of rum. If you're using a split base spirit of Jamaican and Martinique, measure out 1 ounce of each. If you're using the Aged Wray and Nephew, measure out 1.5 ounces of rum and 1/2 ounce of water. Then add that to your shaker. Measure a 3/4 ounce of lime juice, add that to the shaker. Measure 1/2 ounce of Curaçao, add that to the shaker. Measure 1/4 ounce of rich simple syrup, add that to the shaker. Measure 1/4 ounce of Orgeat, add that to the shaker. Add the crushed ice from your glass into your shaker, and 3 or 4 ice cubes to help stir the pot. Then give everything a good shake to chill it down and give it some dilution. Take a big sprig of mint and whack the rim of your glass with it. This will help release some oils in the leaves and give your glass a great aroma. Then pour the contents of your shaker unstrained into your chilled glass. Next, push your spent lime shell back into place and plop it in your drink for garnish. Then work in your mint behind it so that it looks like a miniature palm tree poking out of a little tropical island paradise, which is how Vic envisioned the garnish. And there you have it, the 1944 Trader Vic's Mai Tai, Akole Maluna. Click here for more videos. Be sure to subscribe and check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. For links, more info, and the printed recipe, check out the description below.